Entitled mom tried to unalive me, then physically assaulted me on 2 occasions, just before I got any justice. Karma hits her, and now she is unalive. This happened 8 months ago. My friend, Kylan, and I work for a woodworking company. It's a pretty great job for me, as I love hands-on activities and creating things. Kylan, however, has more of a difficult time with it all, which is completely fine as I help him with it. His mom and my mom aren't necessarily close, but both support me and him in our work. We're pretty young, so it helps with reassurance. But a few days before this incident, I started to realize that Kylan's mom never really acknowledged my work. Now that's not really a big deal to me as I don't require praise, but I do find it a bit weird as Kai's mom has apparently had a few racial incidents at her own work, and I'm African. I was just assuming it's because she's afraid. I'm a pretty built guy and 6'6". Fast forward to Tuesday, and I'm working on a wooden chair that has taken me a few more attempts than I wanted. The table saw I had been using to make clean cuts was pretty rusty from Kai using it constantly. I headed out to the department to get a replacement and was a bit annoyed that Kai was not doing it himself. I came back and said, "Hey man, don't be afraid to change your equipment." And he rolled his eyes and just replied with a K, which just annoyed me even more. I just pushed past it and continued. But minutes later, I heard Kai laughing, and I looked up to find him laughing at my cutting. This made me extremely upset, as I've been working almost day and night while he only works 7 to 9 hours. This, along with his mom recently coming into the shop and laughing along with him. This got to me, and I walked over to Kai and told him a few words that I shouldn't have. He immediately got defensive and pushed me back, and I was about to strike back when his mom instantly joined in with him and intentionally pushed me to the left where the saw was. Stupidly, I left it on. As soon as I was pushed back, the back of my hand was shoved right into the saw, causing a drizzle of blood to just gush everywhere and for my palm to be basically split in half with a huge gap between my pinky and ring finger. The shock kicked in, and I instantly grabbed my hand and shouted for my mom, who was on the other side of the shop. She immediately got an ambulance, and I was sent to the closest hospital. Kai has been texting me almost every day, apologizing for his mother. The only text from her was her saying that this was my fault and to not hurt her son. Update: after scrolling through the comments, I think I need to clear some things up. 1. I am 17 years old. I'm allowed to work here because my brother-in-law owns it along with his father. I'm trusted. 2. How did I manage to keep the saw on? Again, I'm not sure myself. Extremely critical mess up on my part. 3. Your hand would have been split in half. Yes, it is basically split in half. It stopped at a gap in between. And thankfully, by a miracle, it wasn't completely cut in half but was itching off the edge from a clean cut down the middle. Minor update: I got in contact with EM's husband and told her about the full situation and that she was intentionally trying to harm me. Apparently, EM had been telling her husband a completely different story. He seemed pissed and said he'd talked to EM. This was about 3 hours ago. Comments from OOP: in the last few months, I have tried so many times to call the cops and press charges, but unfortunately, it has gone nowhere because her husband is a cop. My mom's in the workshop because she's one of the managers. It's not a huge place like everyone's imagining. We actually have no clue why Kylan's mother was hanging out at the workplace. My mom and I have told her it's a huge risk for her to be hanging around, but she insists she'll be as far away as possible from everything and just wants to watch. She's what you'd call a helicopter parent, so we believed her. Half of my ring finger is gone, along with all of my pinky. A little of my middle was injured. The hands are doing pretty well. Still a bit gory to look at after being stitched up and worked on, but still working and getting the job done. Update: so since my first post, a lot has gone down. First, Kylan and I have made up. It wasn't his fault for what his mom did, and I get that. Secondly, after telling EM's husband about what has actually been going on and him getting pissed at EM, he's taken me into the station to get things sorted out and ask how I want to move forward. I haven't really decided what I'd like to do at the moment, but I'm leaning towards just money for compensation or something. 2 days ago also showed up at my house demanding for me, but I wasn't there at the time. But when I did get back home, I saw EM standing there waiting for me. My mom said she stayed there the whole time waiting for me, and I went up to ask her what's going on and why she's here. And in response, I got a huge glob spat in my face and a whole bunch of yelling. Honestly, it took me a lot of restraint to not yell at her back, but I just calmly told her to get the F away from my mom and my house. Eventually, she did. Update: finally, after tons of comments, I'm going to take this to court. EM's husband has given me a good injury attorney that I can talk to, and my mom needs to help me fill out the documents once I get there. I don't know when the court date is though. Comments from OOP: minutes after writing the post, I again got a knock on my door. And it was EM. She told me that telling her husband was unnecessary, and now he won't talk to her. She slapped me, and I instantly shoved her. I underestimated my strength, though, and she went a good few feet. I just shut the door and told my mom, and I feel horrible about hitting a woman. My hand is stitched up. There were questions, but I didn't include any other people. I just told them about a saw. My mom couldn't do much. She barely speaks English, and my father is in prison. Told her husband multiple different things about the situation, like me groping her, being disrespectful, etc. The incident happened 2 months before I got her fired from her business and tried contacting the police. A week after that, she started telling her husband lies, which caused him to not take any of my reports seriously. The third update on the table saw an incident. Hi everyone. I'm sorry for all the updates, but I want to update you and also clear things up. 1. I'm sorry for lying about my age. I'm 16, not 17. I was scared of everyone calling me a child and saying that I'm immature. 2. I know. I'm tall for a 16-year-old. As for updates, well, there are a few. The first update was me talking to the police about her harassing me. I'm pretty sure something happened because ever since then she's been quiet about the situation, where before she used to call me and berate me for everything. The second update is that my bill is trying to go through the process of a restraining order and wants to help me during the court hearing. He also installed a saw stop. The reason we didn't have one before is really unknown. The third update is that I actually injured my hand even more. Last weekend, I sprained my wrist, so that's why my friend Harley is doing it. Sorry for the slow update. The fourth update is that Kylan's mom kicked him out. Apparently he's been in contact with the police as well because of how she's been treating him recently. I guess she's been hit pretty hard by this because she's been drinking heavily and being mean to Kai. She found out about it and kicked Kai out to the curb. I've tried contacting him, but I've gotten no answer since. Thank you for all your patience and prayers. I do appreciate it, and soon I will be getting the justice I deserve. Most likely the last update. Hi everyone. The time has come to update you all on what will probably be the last of this situation. Hopefully. Sorry if there's any typing errors. My hand still feels funny from my wrist. Was supposed to be scheduled for court, but it never came. Apparently some people have figured out who she was IRL from word being spread, and she's lost a lot of friends from it. This is what her husband has disclosed at least. I'm not sure what led up to it, but she was drinking and drove onto one of the highways and got into a massive crash. Everyone else involved got away with a few injuries, but she was basically unalive at the scene. So yeah, I guess that's really how it ends. Not the ending everyone was hoping for, lol. Sometimes karma works in the worst ways possible. Thank you to everyone who really supported me through everything. I appreciate you all. Comments from OOP. Yes, I have been checked for nerve damage, and I do have severe damage. It takes me a while to type these posts, lol. Yeah, I'm still dealing with the pain. It sucks arse. It burns, and I can't barely grip or pick up anything. When asked about Kai, he's not great. Yes, we are still friends, and now we're even closer friends than before. Thank you for watching the video.